Hey guys, Corey here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be touching base on how the market makers, the media, mainstream news manipulate and lie to the general public about market conditions for manipulation purposes. If it's your first time, be sure to subscribe, tap the bell so you know when I post new videos. And if you enjoy the content, be sure to give me a thumbs up as it greatly helps the channel grow. I want to start things off by showing you guys what Tom Lee has said, and then I'll explain exactly what's going on.
Inflation expectations have way overshot to the upside. 1 year forward inflation is at 4.5%. It's where it was in October 2022, March 23, October 2023. So at the peak pessimism.
That's one thing.
Yeah, short interest has soared. Like 1 week, Goldman shows 1 week short interest in ETFs rose by the most since 2022. Median short interest in stocks is at basically a 3-year high. And now we just need a positive catalyst. I think as long as inflation tracks better than expected, I think we're in a good position to rally. Well, they say bull markets rise in an escalator, fall in an elevator. So it's what you'd expect in a rising trend is sharp corrections, and it shakes people out. And
so what Tom Lee's basically saying is that we expected 6 rate cuts this year. So we priced that in to the market back in October, and we overbought. The market was completely overbought. Then when we realized the Feds were not going to be cutting interest rates, we went to the exact opposite extreme, and now the market in the middle of April was oversold. So with the expectations of having 6 rate cuts, we overreacted and bought everything up. Then when we thought we were only going to get 1 or maybe even no rate cuts, we overreacted and then sold everything off, and now everything's oversold. So it's kind of from one extreme to the other. And like Tom Lee said about the shakeout, what he basically meant by that is at least once or twice a year you have a 2 to 5% pullback in the market, sometimes more, and sometimes it happens more often. However, there's always at least 1 or 2 pullbacks a year, and you have to have this to bring people down to earth. Otherwise, people will say, oh, Nvidia is going to go to 1,000, Nvidia is going to go to 2,000, Meta is going to go to 700 or 800, Netflix is going to finally get to 1,000, and people just buying and buying and buying, and the market just goes up, and it's just not logical. However, I do want to point out something very important, though. With the tensions rising in the Middle East, the mainstream media here, stateside, issues all kinds of news related to the Middle East and the tensions that we're going to have a war, and they push the war agenda, and it's going to be the end of the world, and oh my God, sell your stocks, you got to get out before it's too late, things are going to hit the fan, it's going to get really ugly and bad. It's almost like Armageddon, right? And why are they doing this? Why does this happen? Well, they do that because they want to force you out. They want you to sell your stocks immediately, and then the stock tumbles, so this way you're selling and they're getting in at a bottom, and then the price goes back up and you're getting in at the top and selling at the bottom, and they're doing this to shake you out, manipulate you, and make money off you and confuse you. This is what the market does. This is how they do it. They spread fear and propaganda with all kinds of negative catalysts so that everyone will be in fear and then start selling off. The price will tumble, and then they can get in at the bottom. The price goes back up. They're collecting all these profits, and everyone starts buying back in after the stock prices go back up. It is manipulation at its finest. I said during this time a week ago, you can go back and watch my videos, that it's a buying opportunity. When there's fear, it's time to be greedy. And that's exactly what happened, because stick around. I'm going to show you guys on a chart multiple stocks, lots of stocks actually, that were hitting rock bottom and all went up. It's not just one company. You could say, oh, Corey, one company went up. It doesn't matter. Or 2. But when you start having 3, 4, 5, half a dozen, 2 dozen companies, and they all were down and now they're all up, that's a market sentiment. And that's exactly what I'm saying. When bad news catalysts come out for a company, Apple didn't make any money this quarter, they're negative in their earnings. Okay, that means their share price would go down, but that wouldn't have a negative effect on Coca-Cola, because one is tech sector and the other is food and consumables. So they're not in the same sector. But when you have multiple stocks in multiple sectors, dozens of them, and they're all down because of the threat of some type of war in the Middle East or some warmongering, fear-issuing news and these weird catalysts or tensions in the Middle East, or things are going to get worse, then they all bounce and they're shooting right back up again. That's a sell-off and a pullback, and now all the market makers and big investors and hedge funds all get in. And it's only there to shake you out, confuse you, and make you sell your shares. And for an example, NIO. When NIO hit $3.60, 5-6 days ago, I told you guys it was a buying opportunity. I bought shares of NEO in the $4 range, in the low fours, and I added to my portfolio. Now NEO's pushing $4.50, $4.60 a share at the close on Friday. So it's a shakeout. Don't let anything ruin your sentiment on companies you invest in, because my advice is you only invest in a company that you believe in. If you have to ask yourself, should I sell? Should I stay in? That means you don't know why you own those shares. And if you don't know why you own them, you shouldn't have invested to begin with. But if you know why you invested in a company and you believe in that company and the company is on track with your belief, even if they're not profitable yet, if nothing's changed and the earnings call hasn't happened, don't let yourself be fooled or manipulated into selling shares based off of news catalysts that are irrelevant or not related directly to the company in which you own stock. So what I mean by an example is if you own shares of NEO, but there's some threat of a disaster in London of some sort, I'm just saying it never happened, but I'm just saying there's some disaster in London with a water spill or a water leak and they're trying to blame it on terrorism or something, why would you sell your shares on NEO? You're not manipulating me. I'm not going to allow the market to manipulate me. Not only did I not sell shares during this fear-mongering widespread news panic that was going on last week, I purchased more. I added to my position in SoFi, and now I'm up 10 to 15% in 3 days. I'm up on my NEO, completely up on NEO, total return in the positive. And I was able to achieve this by not following market sentiment during a pullback, especially with all this wacky stuff that we see on the news. Let me show you guys some examples, because I'm going to actually back up what I'm saying with actual examples. I'm going to show you a drawing I made on the chart of NEO 6 days ago on a previous video. And you can go back and watch those videos and you'll see in that video where I predicted that it was a buying opportunity. Don't sell, add to your position, dollar cost average. I drew an arrow and NEO went exactly to the T where I said it would go. Now, it's hard to predict exact movements in the market. Nobody can do that. But I had a pretty good general idea of where the bounce back was going to happen. And not only that, NEO gap, it jumped. And the Chinese economy jumped too. It's having a bull run, the best bull run it's had in years. The reason I'm able to understand these things and these fundamentals of not to sell and to be greedy when the market is fearful and to be fearful when the market's greedy and to know when to dollar cost average and do these things is because I've spent the last 7.5, 8 years in the stock market. I went to college for this and I had a lot of struggles in the beginning. And I have a video coming out detailing my life on how trading changed my life after divorce and the journey I've made from zero to my first $100,000. And I told myself, no matter how long it took, once I achieved success and financial freedom, that I would spread the knowledge and the wealth to help you guys achieve the same thing, which is why I'm here, which is why I'm doing this, because I want to show you how to trade safer, more consistently, and make more money. This way you can make passive income, or you can retire early, or you can quit your full-time job possibly at some point, which would be great. But just to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and just overall enjoy a better life. You know, money is great. I make good money trading. I have no worries financially at all. My children won't have any worries either. But there's more to life than just money. It brings financial freedom. It brings the ability to enjoy your life better. But I enjoy the connection with people. I enjoy that just as much, if not more, than money. I mean, of course, I'd be a liar if I said that money isn't great. It is great, but I really enjoy teaching. I love reading comments that say, Corey, you really helped me. That's what drives me, to be able to wake up, do what I love, make money, but more importantly, communicate with you guys, teach you how to do it, and to get feedback from you saying, hey, Corey, thank you so much. This strategy worked. I made money. That to me means a lot. I enjoy that. Person-to-person interaction. Social butterfly is what I used to be called in college and in high school. My whole life, basically. And I enjoy this. Watch my previous videos from a few days ago. I drew this line on NEO back on April 23rd, which was Tuesday, and I showed you where the 10-day moving average crossed over the 20-day, and on the 1-hour chart, see, I drew over here and over here where it crossed over 10-day, over the 20-day, and over the 100-day, and I drew an arrow showing where NEO would go, and it gapped right up exactly where I said it would. This is because everybody was manipulated with all this news catalyst. What's going on in the Middle East, between Israel and Iran? How much news has come out on Israel and Iran the last couple of days? Think about that. There was more news last weekend than there have been this whole week combined. Just coincidentally, the news cools off and all of a sudden stocks are up. Listen, I'm just pointing things out, plain plain as day what's in front of me. And look at this. NEO came down, all this bad news, all the sell-off. They all buy back in. We see that happening here, so we get in. And because we get in when the market makers are shaking us out and buying up, it jumps. You see, this jump right here is massive. This is because the price is moving so quickly. Market makers start buying it up. We see it, so we start buying it up. They go in for a second round. Everybody's buying. It's way up here. NEO's going to go all the way back to $5. That's what's going to happen. It's going to retest this 450, which it's doing right now, and we're going up this way. I'll draw another arrow of where I think it's going. Probably Monday when it opens, it'll jump, come back down. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll see this number somewhere up here for next week. That's my drawing. Let's go ahead and look at Rivian. Same exact thing. Look at this. All this selling. Market makers are pressuring everybody to sell. Comes back up. All the sell-off. Now they're buying up. Look at these candles. Think that's the only one? Nope. Let's go over and look at SoFi. Same exact thing. All the sell-off. And after that, all the market makers buying in. Some people fear selling off. Then they drive it right back up. Every single stock. You can't say it's earnings. Every stock's not having earnings at the same time. Look at this. Look at all the sell-off. Big fear drop. Bounces. Comes back up. More fear with the news. Bounces. Now it's on the way up. Look at Palantir. Big sell-off with the news. April 17th, 18th, 19th. Look at this. Right when I told you guys to get in. Goes up. Lots of buying. There's even a video if you go back and watch all my videos. And I'm very transparent with you guys. I told you guys it would bounce off here. If it broke through, it would retest it. It did. It came back down, did some retests, some dropped all the way down here. And look at this. Market makers ate it up. It's all the way back up here. Yet again, another stock doing the exact same thing. I have a pretty decent position in Tesla, and I was not panicking when this sell-off was happening. And you see, once again, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, all the way to this Monday. Coincidentally, Monday the 22nd, all stocks and all sectors just started skyrocketing. It's manipulation. Look at this. On a negative earning, although their forward-looking statements are really good, look at the green candles all the way up. Sure, I would say that this is probably related to earnings, but how do we have multiple stocks in multiple sectors? EV sector, AI tech sector, fintech sector, like the airline sector, every sector, exact same thing. All these big jumps this past Monday and Tuesday. They shook everybody out from April 12th on Friday all the way through till Monday the 22nd. It was nothing but a shakeout. Everybody got shaken out of the market and market makers bought it all up. Think that's the only stock? Not a chance. Look at Carvana. Look at all the sell-off and all the fear, and then poof, up we go. Same exact thing. Look at Bank of America. Oh, just coincidentally, it's on the earnings in the weekend where all the fear was. Up we go again. Look at Apple. Same exact thing. All the way through the 19th. Coincidentally, Friday the 12th, everybody started selling, and the selling stopped on Monday the 22nd, and up we go. How many more examples do we need? I mean, it's clear as day. The market makers have driven the market down and back up. So all I'm trying to say is don't always make decisions based off of indirect catalysts. Like tensions in the Middle East should really not scare you into selling all your shares of SoFi or NEO or Palantir or SoundHound or Apple, Affirm, Roblox, I mean, Rivian, doesn't matter which stock, Tesla. All right, here we go on NEO. I highly recommend selling a put at $4. So we're going to go out. I'm going to click on sell put. Not very good because we're on a bull run right now. So the chances of it going below $4 is pretty slim. So we'll click continue. You might be able to get $4 for it. However, if you want a little more premium, you could do a $4.50 put. And I don't think NEO is going to spend much time below $4.50. I feel like we're going to be going up until earnings. Unless they miss the earnings or have some bad news, I don't think we're going to be having an issue going below $4.50. However, it's up to you. I personally would do it because I want more NEO. In fact, I'm probably going to sell 5 or 10 puts on NEO at $4.50 because at $17 my break-even price is more like $4.33, which is really not bad at all. So I'm probably going to sell a couple of these. If I was to sell, I don't know, 10 of these, I would make $170. I'm considering doing it. I really want to extend my position in NEO, and if you guys are looking at getting into NEO, this is a great way to do it. If you really plan on getting into NEO, you could sell 2 puts and collect $34 juicy premium for next week. Get right into NEO. NEO. Or if you want to sell one, you could do the same thing. And since we're talking about the market, how they're manipulating us in this video, it's not really just specific to NEO. I don't know if you guys missed this train, if it took off without you. It did take off without me. I was doing some other things and I should have got into this, but look at this, $8 puts on SoFi for $66. Even if you get assigned, your break-even price would be like $7.44, which is pretty good. You can collect $66 juicy premium, and that is because of what I told you before, Vega. If you see, Vega is 0042. Every percent the volatility goes up, Vega increases price by 0042. That means every 10% is $4.20, and that is pertaining to the 50% mark. And since it's at 144, that means it is 10 times more volatility, which should be right around $42, because normally this put would be less than 20. Take 66 and minus 42, you're left with 24, which is roughly where this contract would be at, maybe a little bit less. So you can see how Vega plays a factor. Implied volatility being at 150% increases the value of the contracts. I really wouldn't recommend selling an $8 put unless you don't care, you just want to get in and collect the premium, but I would sell a $7.50. That's the sweet spot. Your break even $7.10, perfect. Or you could sell a bunch of $7 puts for 20, your break even $6.80. I would sell a $7 or $7.50 and you would collect that juicy premium to get into SoFi, which you already want to do anyway. As a trader or an investor, things can get pretty hectic. The market moves and fluctuates very rapidly at any time based on greed, fear, and just overall sentiment. A news catalyst can send things fluctuating all over the place and leave you scratching your head wondering, what should you do? Well, most of the time, not really what you should do, what you shouldn't do, which is allow other people, news, media, and things like that influence your decisions. Only buy into a company if you believe in it and you understand why you're getting in. And if you do those things, then you'll have an understanding of the company, the fundamentals, the financials, the direction they're going. And you'll understand that even with weird fear-mongering news that's trying to manipulate you, that the company is going in the direction that you anticipated them going in and nothing's changed. So instead of asking yourself, should I sell? Should I panic because of what the news is showing me? Instead, you should be asking yourself, why did I invest in this company? Why did I put my money there? And when you can answer that question and have true understanding of your investments and knowing where that company is going, only then will you be able to answer the question on whether or not you should buy, sell, or hold. And at that point, you've been able to make a decision for yourself and not let the mainstream media confuse you, manipulate you, or even worse, troll you. Thanks so much, guys, for being here. I really appreciate you. If it's your first time, be sure to subscribe and tap that bell so you know when I post new videos. And if you can give me a thumbs up, that would be great, as it greatly helps out the channel and helps it to grow. Take care of yourselves, and remember, until the next video, let's grow our wealth together. Take care, guys.